Alright, finally giving this YouTube thing a go. Had enough of being abused by TikTok kids, so I'm gonna jump on here instead. Today's video, I'm gonna be talking through week 1 of meet prep training. So I'm 16 weeks out from my first powerlifting meet. So this was week 1 of the block. So we're starting out here day 1 with competition squats. Usually in a new training block, I start really light. So I was supposed to be working up to 3 reps at an RPE 6. So I used 150 kilos, which I rated about, not even an RPE 6, honestly, maybe a 4 or 5. Moving pretty easy. I think depth is a little bit high again. Yeah, definitely a little bit high on that last one, but obviously moving really well. I'd expect this to go up maybe 10, 20 kilos to week 2. Drop this down to 120 kilos for a 3x6. So again, moving really easy. It's not even an RPE 6. So yeah, week 1 I usually just cap things off at a 6 for the competition lifts, just to build some momentum and really ease my way into the training block. I've got a side angle here. So yeah, you can see depth is probably an inch or 2 high, I would say. Like everything else looks pretty good. I think bar path is good, keeping my knees forward. Just need to mess around with my stance width a little bit more. I actually used to squat too deep before I changed to this gym, and then I think I just changed my stance width and got into this habit of squatting high. So I'm gonna have to clean that up before the meet. Another set of 120 here. That rep was really high. I think it depends on the camera angle as well, to be honest. You can see here though, my toes are flared out quite a lot, probably more than normal, so I need to maybe straighten them up a little bit. But yeah, I think just next couple of weeks I'll start playing around with my stance, toe angle and everything like that to try and actually hit depth. Then moved on to some competition bench, so 110 kilos here for a warm-up. This has been my new setup for a while now, pulling myself off the bench, take my grip, pretend I'm creating an arch because there's no arch there. And then on the way down, you can see I'm trying to think about slightly tucking my elbows and then flaring on the ascent. Basically what I'm trying to do there is get the bar back closer to my shoulders. 120 kilos here. This was about a 3 at RPE 5 or so. To be honest, anything below a 6 is probably very difficult to rate. But yeah, that was pretty easy. All the way down to 90 kilos for these back off sets. I wish I would lock out my elbows. Yeah, very easy. Don't even know if I count this as a working set, honestly. But yeah, my bench has really blown up recently using this kind of sub-max approach. Last training block, don't think I went above an RPE 7 for my back off work. And I actually added 15 kilos to my max. Well, around 15 kilos. But yeah, these look easy enough. Last set here. If you notice my feet, the outside of my feet coming off the floor, so I think my stance is actually a little bit too wide. Pretty sure I'd get red lighted for that at the meet, so I need to clean that up as well. But yeah, really easy. Finished up with this chest press machine here just for a 3x10. I've been liking using this recently just because it's a little bit lower fatigue, especially mentally. So I don't have to jump on a bench, go through my whole setup. I can just literally jump on a machine, knock out a 3x10 in 5 minutes or so. Wearing that EBS t-shirt as well. Day 2 here. So yeah, I was being a clown here. Deadlifting and sliders for an Instagram video. 220 for a 3 at 6. But yeah, in all seriousness, I don't think it matters at all what shoes you deadlift in. You'll see here in the next clip I'm wearing the Notorious Lift deadlift slippers. And I mean, I like them, but nothing special. 175 kilos here for a 3x5. Really easy. AirPods dropping out every set. Again, side angle here. Back doesn't look as rounded as normal. Yeah, these are moving easy. I wish I would just slow down. I don't know why I'm rushing so much. Hold it at the top for a little bit, because I have failed deadlifts at lockout a couple times. Yeah, so chilling here in between sets. Guy sat next to me is a mate of mine, Peter. He's competing in, I think he's 2 weeks out now, 24th of April he competes. So I've been helping him out with some meet prep. Pretty sure he's going to pull over 300 at that meet. Yeah, last set here. You can see moving really easy. AirPod's gone again. Into some bench with mini bands. Only 100 kilos here for 6. Probably sandbag these a little bit today, to be honest. I really responded well to these last block. I think just having the bands there, it kind of keeps me in a nice fixed bar path. And if I press the bar forward off my chest, which I don't want to, I can feel the band pull on the bar. So it just gives me some good feedback. Then finished up with these tempo squats, which I don't know why I programmed these for myself. 10 reps with the 3-0-0 tempo. 60 kilos for a warm-up. Yeah, you can see here depth is about the same as the other day. Need to mess around with that stance. 80 kilos here. Really light on this day just for 10s, just some practice work basically. I think these are a good way to transition into higher squat frequencies. So if right now you're squatting, let's say twice a week, and you want to move up to 3, add in a tempo squat. Just a nice light variation to ease you up there. But yeah, that was the session. So session 3, I had squats again, so with mini bands this time. That rep was insanely high. And again, I think it's the camera angle as well, honestly, but I'm sure people in this commercial gym think I'm doing some kind of good morning half squat hybrid. But yeah, again, I responded really well to squat with mini bands. I think it's just because it keeps me in a nice consistent technique. Like I said with bench, I can feel the band pulling if I move out of my groove. Depth looks a little better from here, I think. Maybe an inch or 2 high, but nothing crazy. 125 kilos here for a set of 6. Rated this about a 7. Yeah, moving easy. I'm happy with technique here. Bar path looks good. Holding my knees forward well. It's literally just depth. Yeah, that one was a little high again. Yeah, had a 3x6 on this day. Next, moved into some Larsen presses. This is my first time doing these like in the lower rep ranges. So basically you want to go through your normal setup, try and get an arch, and then maintain that arch without your legs helping you out. Now I noticed during this set, the bar moves insanely slow off my chest, and I think that probably tells me a lot about how well I'm using leg drive. You can see here, really grinding this. Bar is crooked as well. Yeah, 110 for 6, rated that about an 8. Not too bad for a week 1. Then finished up with these feet up dumbbell presses. Never really done them like this before, but I think the traditional dumbbell press with your feet on the floor, a lot of people tend to just use dumbbells that are way too heavy, end up half repping, and not actually putting a ton of tension on the pecs, just boosting their ego basically. So I thought feet up here, a bit of a neutral grip, pulls at the bottom. And to be honest, these, it was at 32s I were doing, felt like the 50s. Last session of the week here, we've got Sana, she's doing some deadlifts. She pulled 150 recently, around 60 to 65 kilo body weight. So excited to see what she's going to pull this year. I had deadlift with mini bands, and I know I'm probably going to get questions like, why are you using bands so much? Literally just variation. I like using them further out from testing just because they're a little less specific. For deadlifts though, I do like them as well, just because they encourage me to pull fast off the floor. And if my back rounds too much, I can feel the band pulling. So yeah, it just cues me to keep my chest up. 160 kilos here, moving pretty easy again. True on straps. Honestly, for deadlift accessories, I usually use straps just to spare my hands, and I'm lazy, honestly. Yeah, 160 pretty easy for 6. Then moved up to 180 for the top set. Rated this one about an RP 6. I think my best set of 6 on these is maybe 200. Yeah, these look pretty good. Holding them quite nicely at the top. Pretty easy. think after this moved into, so 3 count pulls bench today. So a little tip, if you're training in a commercial gym, throw a yoga mat on the bench. Helps a lot with keeping the bench a little grippier rather than you sliding around. But yeah, 3 count pulls is here. I think some of them were a little bit rushed. I was really rusty on this day. 100 kilos here for a warm up. For some reason I started bridging my ass off the bench as well. I don't know if it's because I wore different shoes or some other excuse. A little close-up angle here. So I wanted to talk about elbow positioning. So I mentioned before, but I'm looking to kind of tuck my elbows a little on the way down and flare them on the way up. I'm not doing a great job of it here. I think that's because this side of the bar is actually crooked. It's a little more forward than the other side. But yeah, 105 here for 5 reps again. Last set here, top set, I worked up to 110 kilos. I think my best set of 5 on these is 120. So hoping to build on that this block. Pauses weren't too bad. I tend to let this bar sink into my chest a little bit and then kind of throw it using my legs. Yeah, it just wasn't working today. Finished up with these Romanian deadlifts. So usually program these in as a 3rd deadlift slot. Just because they're relatively low fatigue, pretty lightweight on these. So worked up to 140 for a set of 10, I think here. I was pretty happy with this set, pretty good control. Don't recommend deadlifting in Flyknit racers though. That's one shoe I would not pull in. You can see my feet wobbling all over the place. But yeah, I was pretty tired at this point in the training week. This was the last slot. But yeah, that wraps up this week of training, I think. So I think every 2 weeks or so, I'll post a review of training. If there's any questions you have in particular, post them up in the comments or send them me on Instagram. So that's at Ben_evidence-based strength. And I can cover them in some of these videos. But yeah, hopefully this wasn't too boring. Give me some feedback, good or bad, in the comment section. And I'll be posting up in a couple weeks' time.